Happy New Year! I know we've already been back at school for a whole 2 weeks already since the new year began, but this is my first video of 2020. For our parents here at Kimberly Elementary School, I want to say happy Friday, Kimberly Panthers. This is Mr. Sally welcoming you to another edition of my weekly video bulletin. It is Friday, January the 17th, 2020. Wow, can you believe it is 2020 already? And can you believe that it's January already through one half of this school year? Boys and girls, I am so excited. I made my 7-year anniversary on December the 3rd here with Atlanta Public Schools, returning back to Atlanta Public Schools, having worked here for 3 years back in 98, 99, and 2000, but coming back here for this 7-year stretch. It's been a wonderful 7 years, and we've seen so much progress and so much growth in our district, but more importantly, here at our school. Parents and students, please pay attention. I just have a couple of announcements for you as you start gearing up for this second semester and getting ready for milestone at the end of the year, benchmark testing for our boys and girls, STAR testing, all of those wonderful things that we do to ensure that the instruction that your child has been getting has been quality. So looking at our testing window, right now our kindergarten boys and girls are participating in their benchmark testing. That will actually take place next week as well. Initially, we had planned on being finished with kindergarten benchmark testing this week, but we actually have had to move that into next week because of just a few little technology glitches on our part. And so we'll be testing those kindergarten boys and girls next week. So parents, please ensure that each one of your kindergartners gets plenty of rest at night. They're in bed by at least 8:30. And that they get up in the morning, have some breakfast if they're not eating breakfast here at school, but are here and present every day. We do have a 4-day week next week because Monday is the day that we recognize the birth and life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His birthday, of course, was on the 15th of January, but we always celebrated that Monday afterwards. So enjoy your 3-day week, and all next week, again, will be benchmark testing for our kindergartners. We've begun the gifted testing for our boys and girls who may qualify for gifted. They'll be given a series of tests. Please make sure if you've gotten a permission slip for your child to be tested for gifted and you've not returned that you go ahead and do so we can ensure that your child is tested. We want any kid that qualifies for gifted to be able to participate in that, or at least have the opportunity to test for gifted. Our access test is actually starting as well. Access is a test that we give to our students who are learning English as a second language. So typically those are Hispanic students, but they also incorporate any of the other nationalities that we have in our school where English is not the first language. And so those students will be given that test, and we'll be looking for the growth that they've made and be able to share those results with you once those test scores have come back. Looking further at our calendar, we had a Go Team meeting this past Wednesday. At this Go Team meeting, we started talking about the priorities for the school because we're gearing up for budget season in Atlanta Public Schools. And so as we start talking about our budget, we always like to begin with looking at data for our school, determining what our strengths and weaknesses are, then having discussions about those strengths and weaknesses, and then determining how or what kinds of programs and people we feel like we need to have in our building to help support us as we improve life chances for all of our boys and girls. So we began that conversation this past Wednesday at our Go Team meeting. We will have a non-meeting but a webinar with Go Team members to continue that conversation. We have our next meeting in February where where parents are invited to come out and give some feedback if they'd like. We will actually have a draft budget that will hopefully take into account those priorities that the Go Team and our school-based leadership team have determined. And then in March, we'll actually vote on our budget for next school year. Okay, so I'm looking forward to this work. I've been working on it already as I'm getting ready to have these meetings with the Go Team and with the school-based leadership teams. Our monthly school dance will take place on the last Wednesday of this month, which is January the 29th, Wednesday, from 2:45 until 4 o'clock. Please be reminded that there is no transportation for your boys and girls for this dance. And I mentioned that specifically because starting in February, we will start our Wednesday after-school tutorial. Parents, please be on the lookout for any kind of notifications from your teachers about that. So they'll be sending notifications notifying you about the tutoring, as well as inviting boys and girls to participate in that tutoring. For that, we will have a bus. That bus typically comes between 4:30 and 4:45. It's just one bus. We'll have about 4 or 5 stops, but again, all that information will be provided to you in the flyer that will go out about the tutoring. So please make sure this tutoring will only be for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade boys and girls. Our 2nd graders, though, will be enjoying an author visit from an author named Kevin Poplowski, and he's coming on January the 22nd. So please make sure that your 2nd graders are at school that day so they can enjoy that in-house field trip, and please be sure to ask them about it. Speaking of field trips on the 22nd, our pre-K boys and girls will be going to the Georgia Aquarium on the 22nd. I think this is the first time that our pre-K boys and girls have been able to participate in this opportunity. Normally they have to wait into kindergarten, but Ms. Sumter wanted them to get a head start and get an opportunity to enjoy this trip. So hopefully all of our parents have sent in their permission slips and money, and so those boys and girls can be able to go. Something that's even more exciting is the Reading Bowl. How many of you have heard of the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl? Well, Kimberly Elementary School has been participating in the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl for at least 6 out of the 7 years that I've been here at Kimberly Elementary School. I think prior to my arrival, we were not participating in that particular event, but we have been at least 6 of those 7 years that I've been here. And so we are excited again to participate in that event along with a number of other schools within the Atlanta Public Schools and charter schools. And that will be taking place on Saturday, January 25th, right around the corner at Thurl High School, starting at 7:30 a.m. to about 12:30 p.m. We have, I think we have 6 boys and girls who are on our Reading Bowl team who will be participating in the Reading Bowl. So I hope that you're able to come out. If not, definitely send well wishes to our boys and girls who will be participating in that. They've had a heck of a time trying to make sure that they get those books read and that they understand the content of those books, because they'll be quizzed on it. It'll be like Jeopardy. So it's a sight to see. Our 4th and 5th grade boys and girls are being invited to participate in a Washington, D.C. trip. We've sent home flyers a couple of times about this trip. It's a joint trip with Kimberly and Continental Colony, but we've also included Fickett Elementary School and Deerwood Elementary School are also able to participate. That trip is $600. I know that payments should have already started to roll in, but if you have not already made payments and you're still interested in going, it's not too late, because until the final deadline, you can actually pay your $600 and go. So I know it's tax time, and many of us will be getting our tax returns. Mine are not so good anymore, but many of us get a little something back in our taxes, and this might be the opportune time for you to go ahead and invest in your boys and girls experiences and allow them to participate in this Washington, D.C. trip. Another trip that is exclusively for 5th grade is our Camp Fortson 4-H Club trip, which takes place March 30th through April 1st. Permission slips will be coming out for that, as well as a request for a $50 payment for that trip. That $50 is only a fraction of the cost of the trip. We use that $50 to pay for the sleeping bags that we bring. We also buy toiletries and snacks, and we also use it to help pay for the bus and for the trip itself. The trip itself is about $13,000. So please know that this $50 payment that you're paying is just enough to help us with just a little bit of the cost of this trip. And so we ask that all of our parents definitely make the commitment to pay their $50 for their 5th grade boy or girl. One final trip that's coming up. It seems like this session today was just about trips, but that just says that there's a lot going on here at Kimberly Elementary School. We, last year and the year before, we had a study abroad trip. The first year we went to Nicaragua. The second year it was to Mexico. This year we actually did not plan a study abroad trip because we had a change in personnel in our Spanish teachers, and we wanted to give her an opportunity to get acclimated to our school. But we are working on planning a trip for next spring to Costa Rica. Okay, and so this trip to Costa Rica is a little bit more expensive, but the quality of the trip will be even better, because we won't be staying with host families or staying in a dorm room. We'll actually be staying in a real hotel. We'll have all meals included, whereas the last time you had to actually bring money for your food, but all meals will be included for the days of the trip. And we're looking at this trip taking place again, like I said, in the spring of 2021, that week right before spring break, and the trip is about $2,500. So when notices come out for that trip, I'm asking for parents to please go ahead and make a commitment to start paying for that trip. We'll be soliciting our current fourth graders and current fifth graders on that trip. And even though our fifth graders next year will be sixth graders, we're inviting Bunch Middle School sixth graders to participate with us. So we'll include Kimberly, Deerwood, Fickett, Continental Colony, and Bunch Middle School sixth graders will have an opportunity to participate in this trip should they choose. So I think it's a worthwhile experience. I'm looking forward to actually being able to go on this particular trip. So I look forward to you all coming and joining along with us. So again, I want to thank you for taking a few minutes to join me during my weekly video bulletin. I look forward to getting back on here on a regular basis and having more information to share with you about some wonderful things that are happening at our school. If you know anyone who's not hearing this message each week that I send it out, please let them know that, hey, where are you? It's on Twitter, it's on Class Dojo, it's on Facebook. You should be able to get it too. It's also on the APS app. And so that's all I have to say for today with something that I can't remember my motto. Yes, I can. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours. We are Panthers who roar, respect others, own responsibility, always safe, and ready at all times.